like to thank everybody for turning out today. It's a good turnout. It's wonderful to see so many people coming out in support of ancient forests and those who are defending them. We're here today for three reasons that I can see. The state government, Forestry Tasmania and Guns Limited are continuing to destroy Tasmania's last wild unprotected forests. Places like the Upper Florentine, the sticks in the world that mean so much to a lot of us here today and mean so much to Tasmania and its future. The second reason that we're here today is that Tasmanians are still prepared to go into bat for these forests that are integral to the future of our community and our state. 1,000 people attending rallies in the Florentine recently was firm evidence that Tasmanians are not swallowing government and industry misinformation and are still willing to get out there and do what needs to be done. And the catalyst for today's event is that the state government is willing to use the resources of the Tasmanian Police to intimidate those willing to stand up for ancient forests. Thus far, 11 people have been charged or threatened with charges for attending peaceful rallies in publicly owned state forest in the Upper Florentine. Any government that believes that wasting police resources to lay waste to our forests is surely heading for a fall, and hopefully by being here today we can help hasten that a little bit.
And I've had the good fortune to travel widely looking at forests around the world, and I can tell you that in the southern hemisphere there is only one comparable forest to the Upper Florentine, and that is about a 2 days walk from a road in the south of Chile, the giant Alerce forests, which are severely threatened by logging in the past and climate change today. We have an unprecedented opportunity to try and secure this outstanding giant forests for perpetuity if we make the right decisions. I think we have a special time in history now, given the unravelling of the economic system to a large extent. It's time to make a claim for a really new beginning, whereby inventories are done of the biodiversity resources of our forests, and that the management is brought to bear to ensure that that can survive into the future and that it can continue to allow these forests to develop.
The great Tasmanian story right now, so I have written, is the story of the forests. It is a contest for the island's soul, and the forests are arenas of passion and drama and pain. Will we lose this island? Will we lose all there is about it that constitutes its claim to a specialness, its claim on our love and loyalty and active, steadfast engagement? Will this wild and special island retain the free agency that entitles it to that love and wonder, or is it to be reduced to the mere banality of artefact, no more nor less than every other abused and broken scrap of the globe? It is up for grabs and it hangs by a thread. What the forest activists are enacting is a reclamation. It's a reclamation of democratic control from the sham corruption of formal institutions behind which the captains of industry pull the puppet strings to make their tame creatures in Parliament speak on cue. What the defenders of the forest represent is a new, strong notion of democracy, what we might call a value-added concept of democracy, one in which our species is not on a permanent war footing with the processes and forms of life, but which entails the creation of an ecological citizenship, an assertion that we can live with and not against our fellow evolutionary travellers on planet Earth.
Our forests should be above politics. By virtue of being so unique, so fragile, so old, so integral to so much life, they possess an inherent right to exist. But our current vile government is entrenched in the wholesale destruction of our natural environment. Meanwhile, they revel in manipulating the people of Tasmania and creating conflict amongst its denizens. They turn our police force against us and use them to defend their despicable destruction of our forests. In January this year, Forestry Tasmania entered the valley of the Upper Florentine, their lackeys cowering in the giant yellow machines, behind the false bravado of their yes-men, the police. Our hearts broke, but our resolve hardened, and we were bolstered by the incredible response from all over our community. I was blown away by the peaceful and legitimate civil disobedience of hundreds and hundreds of people like you. On 3 occasions in the Upper Florentine Valley in January, 500 people walked into the exclusion zone, walked into their forests to reclaim their forests from the machines and from the politics. If anyone there saw me on those days, they know that I was moved to tears as I watched 500 people walk up that new scar of a road to stop the destruction of that precious forest for one whole day on the 18th of January. Thank you. It is for our actions on that day that 11 Tasmanians have been either threatened with trespass or charged with trespass. And myself with inciting people to commit trespass. What a joke! I am not so influential to actually be responsible for so many of you walking up that road that day. That honour lies with the forests of the Upper Florentine.
Stand up for Upper Florentine!
I think this lady here was first.
Targeting people for taking peaceful protest action is a police state, and we're all opposed to that kind of intimidation.
I don't know whether there's any targeting. Police have got an obligation to review the evidence that's available, and we will only prosecute people where there's sufficient evidence to put them before the court. So, that's probably something that's maybe taken out of context.
Will you keep doing this till you get the result you're after?
Absolutely. These forests need to be saved. They will be saved. We only have 9 years left of logging of these ancient forests, according to Forestry Tasmania. We will not sit by and let these forests entirely be destroyed.
It sounds like they will be considering the possibility of charging people based on particular evidence. So it's good because some of the Florentine people won't be feeling quite as lonely now. It's also a good indication of what the state government is willing to instruct police to do to people who stand up for these wild places. And it's instructive for people who want to have more of an idea of what goes on out in the forest, is that there's not even a moment's thought to wasting police resources on people who are protesting peacefully and legitimately.